Oh dear, this is a. I say it a lot these days when I go live. This is an impromptu live. It is an impromptu live. My husband's just gone out to walk Nomi and run an errand due to some flooding that was in our area. One of his bandmates has a recording studio in the basement of his house. It's really cool. They live in an old funeral home in our area, just up the road from us. And his studio is in what was the sort of mortuary bit where the bodies were kept. Is now his recording studio. Hello, lovely people. There's Sam and Wandering Mountain, Bardic Path, and the Hermit's Cave. Hello, and Nancy, Aquarian's Intuition. Hello. But yeah, it flooded, and they can't actually work out. The water didn't seem to come in from anywhere. They think it's come up through the groundwater because they're at a slightly higher elevation than the floodplain. So I'm on a really long road, and the lower half of my road, just below, we're not that too far away. It sort of has quite a steep. It sort of goes quite flat, and then has a bit of a steep incline. I'm just at the beginning of that steep incline, so we're out of the floodplain, and we live on the top 2 floors of a Victorian building. So, we're okay, but we do have friends who have damaged homes and cars and things. Our park, where he can't walk Nomi at the park because that's still flooded. The brook has broken its banks, and the local cafe is the car park, and all the park and everything under that is under 1.5 foot of water still. And we've got more thunderstorms coming later. We had a month's worth of rain in about 2 hours yesterday. Global weirding, climate change, it's a thing. So he's gone to go pick up a piece of electrical equipment because loads of the instruments and electrical doodads are waterlogged, including vintage guitars and bass amps and all sorts of stuff. It's just heartbreaking. So hopefully got bees in here. Hi, Akali Sunflower. Wow, there's quite a few people. Gypsy Heart Tarot. Hi, hang on, Govinda. Did I just see Moon Baby? Brant's here as well. Oh, you are here. Hello. Aquarius Owl. Those are you. What the hell? Just what I needed. I have a long drive to the last part of a job interview today, so I'll be listening while I ride. Oh, Brant, exciting. And good luck with that. Is it for, what kind of job is it for? Is it for a cooking pastry? Is it a cooking job, baking job? Just realised, my chair is super low. I'm going to spin it around a tiny bit just because my table is quite high, and because it rests on like a calyx, the back edge, but it's a bit too high for me. And my chair doesn't quite go as high as it needs to, so I sit on cushions as well. I have a very short back. I have a very short torso as well, so that's fun. But yeah, I didn't really know what I was going to talk about. I just was feeling kind of meh, because everything is, it's a merchandising job, very different from what I usually do, but I'm excited. That is exciting. A bit of a change of pace for you, Brant. And Tycon's here. Hello, Tycon. So are you okay? What's that? Wondering what's happened. Are you okay? Bardic Path. Just checking. I don't know what something's happened. I kept what quiet, Simon? Did you say I kept something quiet? I wasn't planning to go live, that's why. And then I was sitting here and I'd been sewing pouches, and I got sort of a third of the way through the next one, and I've sort of had a short lunch break. But I was kind of struggling to focus. I've taken some painkillers because I've got pain in my hip, more than usual, and it was distracting me from being able to focus on my sewing. So I was like, I'll take some painkillers, and it allowed me to sew for a couple of hours, but it's got to the point where the painkillers are now making me not very functional because I'm feeling a bit spacey, and that's usually when I start making silly mistakes and start sort of poking myself with the needles and ending up jabbed a bazillion times. So I'm having a break because I didn't really have a proper lunch break. I sat and ate a sandwich with my husband, and then I came back up here and I started sewing again. And I was like, actually, I need to just have an actual, like, not just 10 minutes eating a sandwich. That's not a lunch break. Hi, Robin, Toadstool Tarot. So, Jamie, what happened? Hope you're okay, Jamie. But how is everyone? Just to check. I'm like, don't talk about Rona. Don't talk about how awful everything is. Let's just, because it's depressing and I'm fed up and lonely and stressed out. So I'm trying to distract myself. And I always end up going on a Rona rant or some other kind of rant. Let's see if I can challenge myself and not do it. And let's just have a nice chat and see how people are doing. And yeah, I'll try and keep this quite short, just like a little catch up on this little corner of the internet, little corner of TarotTube. Did the world end last night and I missed it? It's raining here in Southern California. About a 10 on the weirdo scale. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we had unprecedented rains in London. Loads of my area, like East London, is swamped. What's it like where you are, B? Because I know you're not too far away from me. And I know that Holloway, where I used to live, had some flooding. So yeah. But I had some whilst I was making lunch, which was delicious Breville, cheesy pizzery Breville toasters, in case anyone was wondering. Vegan cheese, obviously. I got a delivery of something that I'd ordered about a week ago and had forgotten about, honestly. Was it a week ago? No, I ordered it last Thursday because it said that it would arrive by this Thursday. So I was like, oh, well, it'll be up to a week, which isn't too bad. From World of Books, worldofbooks.com, I think it was. It's already got Nomi hairs on it because I put it on the bed. And it said it was in used condition. Some signs of use. Some signs of use. Some. Luckily, it was only like £6 or £7. It's a chunker. It's quite heavy. I wasn't expecting it to be this big. I thought it was going to be like A5. I think is it A4? It's about A4 or a little bit bigger than A4. It's pretty big, bigger than American letter size. And it's hefty. But I think this is out of print. It was terrible yesterday, but okay today, says B. Okay, your place is your place okay? I've got so many friends that have just, their cars are ruined, their gardens are flooded, their kitchens, their living rooms, people that live in basements are just flooded and have nowhere to go. Oh God, Jamie, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Nancy, sorry, everyone's saying hi to Nancy. Sorry, I'm just checking. I'll just say I haven't missed anything. But yeah, Jamie, I'm so sorry. I didn't realise. Oh, my love. Oh, it wasn't that heavy where you are. That's so strange, B. Like, that blows my mind. I have a friend that lives just a little ways out, more east, and he was saying that he could hear all of the thunder and lightning, but there was no rain. He said they got 5 minutes of a short shower and that was it. We had here, I have never known rain in London my entire life, not even the famous hurricane that we had back in the late 80s. Like, it was at least 3 hours of consistent, constant thunder and lightning and absolute hammering rain. At some points you couldn't even really see like the houses across the way because it was just a wall of water. It was wild. And you know, cars were beeping and like the alarms were going off, and like we've got cycle lanes outside our house, and there was just water just rushing down the cycle lanes because we're on a slight, you know, on a hill, and we're, like I said, we're above the floodplain, but it was just going straight down. So like my local pub has been flooded out, my local parks, and Nomi can't go to the park today, my husband's road walking here. Like it's just wild. Robin says, Kelly, quick question. Haven't got my pouches yet. Is there any stretch to the material? Notice my Deviant Moon Paradoxa don't quite fit a tin. They will fit. How many cards are in your Deviant Moon Paradoxical? Is it the 80 something? Because if it is, it should fit, because I've got a Deviant Moon. I don't have the Beast pack, but I do have the Triomphe della Luna, and that has the 12 extra Oracle cards plus alternative Tower cards, Judgment cards, and there's another one. I think it's got 2 devils. I think it's got several. So, it's only 78. It should fit fine, and there is stretch to the thing. But I have my Triomphe Della Luna, which has loads of extras. Although your Deviant Moon, the Deviant Moon is longer, isn't it? From what I remember. And I do have a pattern for the Deviant Moon Tarot, because it is a slightly different, it's slightly narrower and it's slightly longer. So I do have a pattern I have in the past made and put up on the shop, Deviant Moon pouches. But obviously I do less of the specific ones. You know, I've done a few of the Marshmallow and Tarot Siren ones. I put a couple of those out. I've done a few for the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle, purely because you know, obviously they're less likely to sell because they're for a specific deck. But if it doesn't fit, let me know and we'll figure something out. Yeah, so people just sending their love to Jamie. Oh, it's just so, yeah, I know, but it doesn't make it any easier, Jamie, you know, and I know we all grieve in our own way. It's so interesting how different postcodes have different weather conditions. It is just, you're not even that far away when you really think about it. And it's the topography of the area, like where things are elevated or if things are sitting in a sort of lower area, you know, even within our area. So we're in our road is really, really long, Lee Bridge Road. It's a big through road. It leads out up onto leads up, just hit myself on the eaves. It heads out up onto the North Circular, and like Whipps Cross. And where we are is above the floodplain. But then people that are up at Whipps, I've got friends up at Whipps Cross who are flooded. I've got friends up at Walthamstow Central and sort of Hoe Street who are flooded, and they're up on, because Hoe Street sort of goes up and down. And then my friends at the lower end of Lee Bridge Road are flooded. So Sam says she's in Essex, didn't get any rain. Oh my god, yeah, like Hackney, loads of my pals in Hackney, they were like they're flooded out. It's just I've never known anything like it before. A month of rain in an afternoon, late afternoon, early evening, because it started around 2:30, like heavy, and went till about 5:30. And we've got more expected this evening, so that's a bit worrying. I don't know how heavy it'll be. Wow, definitely being typically British here and talking about the weather. Hello, Ellen Books and Tarot. Just checking to see if I just don't want to miss anyone's questions. So I've got dry mouth now from the painkillers. I think that's the codeine in them. But yeah, so I picked this up. I actually saw someone share this one in the Hermit's Cave last week, and I don't really go on Facebook all that much, actually. I'm not a very good moderator a lot of the time for the Hermit's Cave. I'm very sorry, Simon, because I just come to really not like Facebook that much. I'm on Twitter a lot more, and it goes through phases. There'll come a point where I'll be sick of Twitter and I'll probably be on Facebook more, maybe, I don't know. Obviously YouTube is my favorite, YouTube and Instagram, because they're visual and audio visual. I find them more, I don't know. But I saw someone sharing this and someone asking if it's worth getting, or they were looking at buying it, and loads of people were saying, yeah, like it's really good and it offers a different perspective. Because I've got Milo Duquette's Thoth book, which the Thoth studies have taken more of a back burner because I've been back on my Marseille and my Lenormand stuff. So I just go with whatever I'm feeling. I try not to force myself, because then I become resistant to it. So if I'm starting to lose a little bit of excitement about something, there's always something else tarot related that I'll just swivel to, like pivot to. So, or cartomancy related. So I think the pollen is surprisingly high despite the rain. So if I keep scratching my nose, I'm trying not to, but I've been sneezing quite a bit today. So yeah, I just thought it'd be nice to have a book. Apparently it has more sort of real world and practical applications regarding the Thoth Tarot, because what I am struggling with, I think, with the Thoth, I love Lady Frida Harris's artwork. I think it's beautiful. I'm really drawn to the artwork, but I'm not so enamored with the a lot of the esoteric stuff. It feels very, it feels very layered on, especially having spent so long really getting into the Marseille and the more sort of grounded, earthy, practical way of reading the Pip decks and the Marseille decks. The Thoth feels very, up, it's that thing that people joke about, or not necessarily joke about, or sometimes grumble about, that whole difference between ceremonial magic and sorcerers and sort of folk magic and sort of like hedge witches and green witches and hearth witches, that kind of, and like folky stuff, and the one is deemed higher than the other, and then like or more because it's more complicated, because it's got more bells and whistles. But actually a lot, I'm not talking about necessarily the ancient grimoires, that from the Greek magical papyri or what have you. I'm just talking more like the real, like, bells and whistles, robes, and sort of ceremonial magic that came about with, the Golden Dawn and that kind of thing, or even like the OTO and other sort of organizations like that, and like Thelema. It feels very like, I don't know if it's a perceived thing, or if it's genuine, like that it looks down on folk magic, which is ironic, because obviously folk magic is the magic of the people and tends to, it's practiced a lot by indigenous cultures. They have their own forms of magic, and as we do here in the British Isles, we have our own forms of indigenous folk magic. But yeah, so it feels a bit like the Thoth is the ceremonial magician to the Marseille's like folk witch. So yeah, and I read Jason Miller's Elements, Sorcerer's Secrets. Where is it? Let's see if I can pull it off the shelf. Where did I put it? I think I put it back. Sorcerer's Secrets, where are you? Nope, it's not there. Oh God, my room is a real mess. Oh, there it is. It's up there. There we go. I put it with all the other books that I've already read so far this year, because I keep saying, I'll do reviews. Do I do reviews? No, I don't do reviews. And part of the reason that I haven't been doing reviews, or really much of anything video tarot related or art channel related, is I feel very meh. But yeah, I read this. And actually, Jason Miller was saying, like, if you have a folk magic practice, that's fine. But folk magic is very much about the here and now and practical applications. And that, like, ceremonial magic and sorcery is more sort of the long-term higher goals of spirituality and curating your life and creating your life. And I was like, hang on a minute. That's why I like, where is it? It's always either always either by my altar or by my bed. This baby, this is why I like Six Ways, because and Aidan and Jason Miller, they're pals. They know each other. They've done interviews together and stuff. They're friends. But Aidan Wachter just makes no such claims. And actually, through this book, and subsequently, apparently, his other book, Weaving Fate, shows that you don't have to have all the bells and whistles in order to create your life. And he actually says, no, I don't jive with the ceremonial stuff. He's done it, and he's been a member of certain orders and had his own order and everything. But for him, the reason he talks about, he calls it sorcery or dirt sorcery, because it's so much more practical. It's like if ceremonial magic and sort of grimoire magic and folk magic practices had a baby, it would be the approach taken in this. So that's how the Thoth feels. Anyway, massive rabbit adjacent thing, but all that is to say is that, as interesting as I find learning about all of the esoteric and occult stuff tied to the Thoth Tarot, it doesn't resonate with me as a reader. So there may potentially be times when, because I haven't fully been doing full readings with tarot and with the Thoth tarot, and I haven't read for anyone else with it, you know. So I feel like it doesn't feel practical. That's the thing. I think maybe it's because I've gotten so used to that more grounded, practical, even slightly more fortune tellery side of things. And I think the Lenormand has a bit of has had a bit of an influence on me in that sense. I'm just going to open the window a bit more because it's actually starting to get super warm now. Oh dear, getting a bit warm. And I've got like fleece lined tracksuit bottoms on because it was quite chilly over the weekend from all the rain. And now I'm starting to get a bit too warm. So yeah, so apparently this book is a bit more grounded. So I'm actually hoping that reading this, see, here you go, even says it, look, practical applications of ancient visual symbols. I'm hoping that it will make me feel a bit more comfortable with the Thoth. And actually, you know, the Golden Dawn and other such societies, associations, whatever you want to call them, they were predominantly white, upper class, very male dominated, kind of, let's face it, colonialistic. They picked and chose what they wanted from various cultures and sort of I feel like just smooshed a lot of stuff together. They layered a lot of stuff over the tarot, which is fine because we, you know, the tarot, that's why I think I've loved Marseille so much. It's so naked, it's so just bare bones, and you can layer what you want on that. Like I layer a lot of herbal stuff onto it, but and it's fine. Some people will use astrology or Kabbalah, but you know, then there's the thing that people don't touch on is the way that, you know, Kabbalah, as the Golden Dawn sees it, is actually quite appropriative and sort of is taken away from it as it is in Jewish tradition and you know, the Jewish religion and Jewish mysticism, and not to forget that, you know, Aleister Crowley was anti-Semitic and incredibly racist, you know, and people don't talk about that enough. I follow quite a few Thelemites over on Twitter, and they're always going, oh, you know, so Crowley was of his time and blah blah blah. But no, you know, people of his time were also not assholes and not racist and not you know, whatever, you know, when people try to give people a pass because it was a different time, but then there were also people in that time fighting those injustices or mindsets. So yeah, I you know, it's difficult because Crowley, I mean, there are some pretty nasty you know, things written by Crowley out there, and I think a lot of people gloss over that. And I know that there was an interesting video that Corvin did over at Talraven Tarot, talking about you know, Judaism and you know, Kabbalah and, you know, the way and appropriation and anti-Semitism and stuff like that. So I'd recommend that if you want to sort of a bit more info on that. So anyway, all that is to say, I'm excited to read this. I have so many books that I need to read. I'm still reading. I had to have a break from Parable of the Sower because my mental health was in a really bad space. And we had this whole stuff with our government opening up, and, you know, the Parable of the Sower, reading that during this time is quite, with the climate stuff as well that's going on, it's all a bit like, oof, this is all, feels very prescient. This is kind of frightening. I also got David Nichtern's book, Awakening from the Daydream. He was the meditation teacher. If anyone's ever seen The Midnight Gospel over on Netflix, the meditation episode was with David Nichtern, and he was one of only 2 people that were interviewed for that show that were animated as themselves. Every other guest character, including one of my favourite evers, Caitlin Doty of Ask a Mortician, were animated as weird creatures or beings. And David Nichtern was animated as himself, and that was a very conscious decision. And Duncan Trussell's mother, who is the guest for the final episode, she was also animated as herself. I highly recommend it. I think it still is on Netflix. It tackles really big questions, from sort of political power structures to the nature of being. I know that Damien Eccles did the episode on magic, and that there's one about psychedelics, there's this one about meditation with David Nichtern, and there's the one about death and dying with Caitlin Doherty of Ask a Mortician. She's a death professional, and she's a writer. She's got a really great YouTube channel called Ask a Mortician. I highly recommend it if you've never checked it out. She's amazing. I've been following her since about 2012 now. Goodness, yeah, I think I've watched every single video she's ever put out. She's amazing. And she's sort of part of the death positivity movement. I highly recommend it. And the final episode is with Duncan Trussell's mum as she's dying, as in like she's got a terminal illness and she's talking about death and dying and how she feels about it. And then if you want more, Duncan Trussell is actually come off the back of his podcast, which is called the Duncan Trussell Family Hour, which I've been listening to since I'd been sort of discovered the Netflix show. I'll see if I can remember to write things down. So the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. What else did I need to mention? There was something else I was thinking I needed to mention. See, my brain, I can't retain anything. The other thing that I've got that I'm reading, and I'm sort of half and half on whether I like it or not, is The Little Work. At the moment, it does. I know he makes disclaimers in here where he's like, and no, that's not to say that people manifest their own cancer and stuff like that. But at the same time, it also feels a bit like that is what he's saying when he talks about karma. Also, I don't know, he talks a lot about yoga and other things, and then I'm like, I don't know if it's really part of his heritage, so I'm like, oh, I don't know. But apparently it's a good book. I'm only a very small ways in, so I can't really say much. I've read chapter 1 basically, so yeah. So I've got a lot of books on the go. I've got a lot of books to read. I've got piles of books to review. Will I review them? I don't know. Maybe instead of doing in-depth reviews of each one, I need to go back to doing sort of monthly favorites. Wow, I just realized I don't know what I need to check the chat, because I never trust a word of books descriptors. Yeah, good point, B. Pouches, I'd answered that one. People dealing with fires. Oh, it's just jumps. This is the thing. I try to scroll quietly, and then slowly, and then it just boom jumps to the bottom, and I'm like, didn't know I saw that one. Saw Ellen Books. Yeah, the village. Oh, the village you used to live in Germany. Yeah, I saw that. I also saw the footage of the woman going, you expect this to happen in the poor countries, but not in Germany. I'm like, climate change doesn't care how much money you have. It's easier to escape it if you're rich. But, you know. Yeah, you're the Clapton end of Lea Bridge Road. Yeah, you're in Stokey. You're a bit further up. I know that you're like, yeah, you cut across from Lea Bridge roundabout and up, I think, from what I can remember. Paper Moon Terror, you can tune in. Hello. There's Nancy 1 and Nancy 2. Where's Nomi today? She is on a walk with my husband. He's taken her to run. Who is Nomi? Says B. My dog, Dr. Nomi. Can you show the book cover one more time? Did you get a good look at it? I'll write the book in the Tarot Handbook by Angeles Arian. I don't think it's in print. This one is from 1995, so this is already 26 years old. I only paid like £6 or £7 for it. Oof. So I'll put the Thoth book in the description bar as well, description box rather. Nomi's mummy. The Green Book's title. The Green Books, Jamie, is 6 Ways. I'm sure people are sick of me mentioning this bloody book because I've had it for about 3 years now. 6 Ways by Aidan Wachter. So I'll put 6 Ways in here at the bottom, so I'll put a link to it. And it's approaches and entries for practical magic. And this is like I said before, I tore down my entire practice and built it, or am building it from the ground up, using this primarily as a base. It's just bare bones, non-dogmatic. There's no, I just love Aidan Wachter. He's just a very chill, interesting, articulate person, and I really enjoy listening to podcast interviews with him because he's very, very calming. He speaks in a very sort of just chill voice. It's just nice to listen to. And he always has something very interesting. And all you Thoth feels more masculine energy to me. I would challenge that, because what do you mean by masculine? And what other word would you, what does that masculine energy encapsulate to you? Hey Kay, lovely to see you. Yeah, no, so was Wait, and they had a little tete-a-tete going on. But I mean, there is some really awful stuff, like literally using the N-word and being really anti-Semitic in his writings, Crowley. Hello, Ellie, Tarot Diva. It's there to read. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't looking. I can see the comments. It's just that what happens a lot of the time is if I keep looking at the comments, I end up getting really distracted. So I have to talk for a bit and then look at the comments. Otherwise, it becomes a whole hot mess. Susan, hello. Ethan Carpenter, hello. I have it with a different cover, the Thoth book. Just wanted to check. Oh, okay, you do have it. There is a new edition of the Tarot Handbook with a green cover. Okay. Cool. How am I today? I am very dry of mouth and very sweaty of butt crack right now because I'm wearing like trousers that are way too warm. They weren't too warm this morning because it was pretty sort of still overcast and a bit breezy and a lot cooler. But the temperature has definitely picked up in the last hour or so. I know you're not. I know you're not excusing him, Simon. Obviously, I'm just saying, like, Crowley had a particular. I don't know. People go, "Oh, I hate that." Like they were off their time. It's like, well, yeah. Sorry. You know, when you can. It's not like that. Last week was so hot here in the UK. You know, you can just feel the sweat going down your butt. You're down your back, down to your underpants. You're like, this is going to go straight into my butt crack. Swamp ass. As there's a YouTuber I follow called Rachel Maxey. She calls it swamp ass. It's a thing. So I just need to change into some lighter clothing because fleece-lined tracksuit bottoms in this weather now, it's a bit much. But there we go. That's what I'm wearing. So I'm not going to change mid live. Someone says Mermaid Bay Tarot. Mermaid Bay. That sounds like a majestic and magical place. Mermaid Bay. A bit like the Mermaid Bay in the recent series of Disenchantment. That was a fun series. Did anyone watch that? So yeah, I was originally asking how everyone's doing. How is everyone doing? Hopefully you're not all losing your minds whilst shielding like I am. Ethan, what is the question mark for? You had dreams. Okay. Like we all have dreams, like actual, like, do you mean dreams as in dreams at night, or dreams as in like I had a dream about becoming a circus performer, or seeing if no one's telling me how they're doing. Ethan said, I said, how are you doing? And Ethan said, I have dreams. The Chariot from Athens. Oh, wow. Hello. From Greece. What a very special place to be saying hi from. I'd love to go to Athens. Love to. I've never been. Just seeing what anymore, if I've missed. I don't think I've missed. You're doing great. Well, that is good to hear, right? At least some people are doing well. Oh my goodness, it's good to hear. And Susan's doing great. It's so hot. I bet it's really, really warm where you are in Athens. My goodness. It's not too hot here today. It's about 23, 24 degrees. And the clouds are starting to roll in again. We're going to get thunderstorms again later. Ellen Books and Terrace says, I'm doing good. Thank you. Feeling a lot better. No more pain. Operation was a success. Oh, you had an operation. Did you say? Oh, I'm glad that it went well, though. That's good. Yay for successful operations and for no more pain. That would be amazing, not having pain. There's one I had called Soft Island. Okay, I don't even know. This curmudgeon can't complain, says Robin. Well, this is very reassuring to hear that a lot of you are actually doing well. That's really nice to hear. What decks are you all using at the moment? Do you have favorite decks, or you have decks that you're expecting? I'm really starting to get super duper excited. The Moon Baby Tarot shielding. What's that? Had to work every day since last August. Yeah, no. Well, I'm shielding, self-imposed shielding, because we have to be super careful. Icon says, fantastic. Thanks for asking. That's good. Yeah, I know that I have friends who are clinically vulnerable that haven't been able to shield. It's really because of their work. It's really just this government. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not rising to the challenge of just keeping it. Just let's keep it all positive, nice, friendly, fun. I'm enjoying the Rose Tarot. The Rose Tarot. Is that the one? I've got a vintage version of that. Oh, no, I'm thinking of the Sacred Rose Tarot. Is that the one you mean? Music's World says, doing good. Just finished Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. How about you? How are you doing? Brave New World. I have a copy of that downstairs on my bookshelf. I read that probably about 10 years ago. But it's not very long, is it, Brave New World? I have read that. We're probably heading there at some point, I'm sure. I also got The Pocket of Peers. The Pocket of Peers. Was that meant to be Peers? Rose Tarot, new from Nigel Jackson. Oh, I've not heard of that. I'm going to give that a little Google. The Rose Tarot, Nigel Jackson. I'm so out of the loop. Oh, I have. Do you know what? I'm lying. I just didn't know what it was called. I didn't remember what it was called, but I know that Tom Benjamin did a walkthrough of that one. You have the Sacred Rose is great, isn't it? I wish I could get a hold of the book for the Sacred Rose Tarot, but it just keeps going up in price because it's out of print. I wish they would make them available either on a digital format or a print on demand. That would be great. They'd make money because people want it. I'm great, thank you. Hope you are keeping well. I'm off to work now. Okay, well, I hope your day at work goes well. Stay safe. Jamie Sawyer's Pocket of Peers is just out from Kickstarter and it is awesome. I've not heard of that either. You've got the Deviant Moon Paradoxical and the Adam Fronteras right away. So see, I've heard of obviously the Deviant Moon Paradoxical. I'm on Patrick Valenza's mailing list, but I've not heard of the Adam Fronteras right away, Smith. I'm just so out of the loop. Mermaid Bay Terrace is exhausted by the heat here in Texas. Oh my goodness. Is it unseasonably hot or just like regular hot for Texas? Because I know, yeah, Texas can get super, super warm. We've got friends in, where are they? Because they moved from just outside, they moved from Sherman Oaks, just outside of LA. And then they've moved, a couple of years ago, they moved to somewhere in Texas. And I can't remember where. And it was either Austin or Fort Worth, one of the two, I can't remember. Hi everyone. Hello, woman who sees, using the Light Seers Tarot and Sacred Creators Oracle. Cool. Purple Paradoxical. Oh my goodness, jealous, Jamie. I'll be right back. Okay. I love Dreaming Way Tarot. Looking forward to some new ones coming. Is that the one that you're using at the moment, Mermaid Bay Tarot, and you've got some other decks on order? Yeah, the only deck that I'm waiting on is the Moon Baby Tarot, which I think ships next month, which my husband backed for me for an wedding anniversary gift. Good morning, beautiful faces. Hans Kellio Red Rose and an eyeball with an eyeball in the center. Oh my god, that's so funny you say that, because I have a hair clip that is an orange flower with an eyeball in the center, Leanne. So that is very, very apt. I need to choose my deck of the week, but I am unsure. Too much choice. The struggle is real. I always look to where I'm talking about. I will look over there if I'm talking about my books. I look over there or there if I'm talking about my tarot decks. But yeah, actually, I was originally talking about what a mess my bedroom / workroom is, and it's gotten to the point where I can't focus very well on stuff because I don't do well with clutter and mess. And I'm getting to that point where I'm just gonna go and I just have to like blitz it. Learning Lenormand, so my current deck is the Butterfly Lenormand. Cool. Is that the one by Mendy, I believe? Nice, the square one. I'm looking down at all my Lenormand books and my notebooks, because all my Lenormand stuff is down by my bed because I've been studying Lenormand. I've been just using the Piatnik because it's just a straight up basic, and I've just been using that pretty much since I got it in April or May. I also use my Tarot of Mystical Moments all the time. So people, yeah, I like that people have favorites. My sort of regular tarot decks are still the Numinous. It's still on my little tarot trolley there, my altar space. My Tarot Classic, and I'm just looking down at what else I've got out. My Tarot Siren has been out quite a bit. It's just out on the side all the time because I use it to take photos of my pouches for my Etsy shop. But yeah, I've been trying to soften it up, if that makes sense. So I think it's because the cardstock is different. If you look at the Marshmallow, and a lot of people preferred the first version of the Marshmallow Marseille to the second version, because the second version has these like holographic metallic backs, but it's sort of the embossing of the pattern on the back shows through a tiny bit on a lot of the cards. I know a lot of people didn't like that. Now, for those of you that don't like riffle shuffled bent decks, bowed decks, look away now. Oh, actually, a way to see, you can see the bend in it. Yep. It's sort of got that riffle. I call it the riffle shuffler's bow. You can see the swoop because I think it's because the cardstock's slightly thinner. When I put the two decks together, trying to thingy them up. How do I show this without it being weird? So can you see? Oh, that's not good. Okay. So it's not showing very well, but basically the Siren is a little bit thicker than the Marshmallow, and so this also has this lovely back, but it's not embossed. It doesn't feel like it's printed in. It feels like it's printed on. So you don't get the transfer embossing onto the other side. But also, I have been using this. I used this quite a bit last summer. And I've been using this one as my Tarot Classic is my study Marseille. This is currently my reading Marseille. I sit and play Dungeons and Dragons and just riffle this too, because I just find riffle shuffling and just shuffling it generally. I just find shuffling relaxing and soothing. Not a nary a bend. It's still pretty much poker straight, and I can't seem to it. Riffle shuffles fine. it doesn't have as much give as the marshmallow. But why does, I don't understand. I have, and I've bridged it and floofed it back together. Bridged it back together. You know, I call it floof. Is it all? Can't really hear it because it's quite small. It's harder to bridge back together. It's kind of like bridging it back together. Oh, Antoinette's here. Hello, Antoinette. Oh, there you go. Can you hear it? But yeah, it just won't. It will not bend. It will not yield to me. And I like a riffle shuffler's bow. I enjoy it. I like it. I like bent decks, and I cannot lie. But I know that a lot of you, I've seen in the cliche tarot reader hashtags, lots of you are horrified by bent riffle shuffled decks. And I'm like, I'm the opposite. I think I was talking to Simon at the Hermit's Cave over last week, saying like how I feel when I've riffle shuffled a deck enough. Was it you I was talking to, Simon? Or was it someone else I was talking to about it? And my brain is trash. I can't remember. And I was saying, like, once a deck has got that little bit of a bow to it, and if its box isn't really that good, if it's just in a tuck box and I've made a pouch for it, it really feels like mine. So, yeah, so the marshmallow will... It bends more easily. I just realised you can't see what I'm doing. See, it has more of a, it's a bit more flexible. So yeah, I'm just resigned myself to the fact that this probably will never have a bend in it. But it's definitely got more, it won't bend in the sense that it will have a permanent bow, but it definitely has more give to it than it did. So you do sort of condition the cards as you use them. So, oh, is that you, Fitz? Not once for yes. Lovely to have you here. I'll just go back up and see what people are saying. So Antoinette's come in and said, hi, why you ignore my comment about supporting my book? Which comment about your book, Music World? I didn't see it, I'm afraid. I didn't ignore you because I'd mentioned Brave New World. I said I've read it. I've got a copy of it downstairs. Of supporting your book. I don't know. You'll have to post it again. I don't always see all of the comments, I'm afraid, Music World. So I can't. Just seeing, trying to get up to date, see what I've missed. Dreaming Way Tarot, Too Much Choice, I saw that. Using Lenormand a lot lately too. Love the Enchanted Lenormand. I have the Tiny Tarot out all the time, and the Toth is out right now, says Leanne. Using the Dreaming Way, regular hot, heat index over 100, sweating every day. Oh my goodness, Mermaid Bay Tarot. Oh, I don't know if I'd manage that, I'm afraid. Ethan Carpenter has a question. What places do you like to go? Currently, fucking nowhere, because there's a pandemic. I go to my post office to post my pouches out once a fortnight. I go to the park to walk my dog, and I go to any medical appointments that I need to at the hospital or any medical centres, because I have chronic illnesses and a current and some health stuff that I'm having investigated at the moment. Nowhere else. It wasn't you on that occasion. Oh my God, Simon, I'm so sorry. I just cannot. I like bent decks as well, used well. Yeah, me too, see Jamie. Hi, Stephanie. I ordered several decks. The Druidcraft, Vintage Tarot. The Vintage Tarot, Mermaid Bay, is that the one that is like the new Rider-Waite Smith that looks kind of old and tea-stained? Because that's quite nice. Darkwood Tarot and a few others. Oh my goodness, you have like a cavalcade of delicious snail mail heading your way. That's brilliant. Kelly, put that poor deck down, says Antoinette. Were you one of the people I watched who did the tarot cliche tarot reader that was like, I can't deal with bent decks? You might have been one of them, right? I think. Fitz, I think it's Fitz. Do you have any recommendations for a Norse or runic deck? I think the only one I really liked so far was direct from Scandinavia and really expensive. I don't, I'm afraid. But someone else might in the chat, because for runes I've only used like actual runes, like stone runes. I don't have any rune cards. But I think, who is it? Kelly Fitzgerald over at the Truth in Story might have some videos about rune decks, maybe. I don't know. Who likes to read runes? Does Honey over at Fierce and Pretty read runes? I can't remember. It is Fitz. Hey, Fitz. I like Ben's, but some people overdo it and it looks abused. I guess. I mean, I have a couple that are like really, really wonky, but I don't mind. I don't mind that. The banana deck. Coming out the Runic Tarot. Oh, thank you for answering that, Mermaid Bay. They retracted it. Oh, okay, says Simon. Thanks. I'll have a Google and see if I can find it. Maybe, yeah. So it was maybe. Got some nice hematite runes, but they can be a bit cumbersome. Yeah, I find that I actually would really like a wooden set. I think I've only ever had stone or glass ones, but they're a bit alarming when you throw them down, right? They're very the stone ones that I have are quite heavy. They're just a cheap old set I picked up years ago, probably about 20 years ago. But yeah, they're a lot when you cast them, even if you're just casting a few. Especially like if I've done it on like a wooden desk, and I've only got like a thin cloth down, and they like really clonk. So I think I've been bitten on my little finger. There's like a little bite and it's like itching. I need to put some lavender oil or something on it. But yeah, so I think, but there's if you look on Etsy, there's loads of creators that do lovely wooden runic sets, and we often put them in like a laser cut box or something, and they're not overly expensive. No, some people like pristine, some people like distressed. It's like baking pans. Some people enjoy seeing the stains and wear on their baking pans. I am pristine because I don't riffle well, I suppose. Yeah, I think also it depends how you shuffle, because if you overhand shuffle exclusively, your decks are going to show a lot less wear and tear. It's going to take a lot longer for them to get to a state where they look really, really worn. Pookie Cat on Etsy has great rune cards. Thank you. That's a great. Go check them out afterwards. Pookie Cat. I'm going to write that down. That's a cute name. Pookie Cat. Pookie Cat. Pookie Cat. Pookie Cat. Sounds like a cartoon character. Hey, Pookie Cat. How are you doing? I mispicked one up, the Tarot Handbook. Which one, Stephanie? The one that I was talking about earlier, or a different one? Because I know that Rachel Pollock has a book called The Tarot Handbook. Shuffle Tarot has a rune deck. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, so Shuffle Tarot, yeah. Thank you for all the people answering Fitz's question. That's really cool. See, we got you back, Fitz. But yeah, there's a person in Russia that does these beautiful sets. I've actually got a couple saved on my my Etsy favorites. So I'll DM you over on Twitter and send you the links to those if you want those fits as well. Yeah, out of leather that helps with the clunking. Yeah, I think you need something a bit like heavy duty, don't you, to stop with the clunk. Ask Mama Squirrel's witchy wisdom at Tarot Tuesday about runes and rune sticks. Oh no, you're right. I'm just thinking, because Shuffle Tarot, she does have a rune deck, but she did a whole tarot. Her tarothon, Nina's talk was all on runes, wasn't it? Because I listened to that. The Heindel Rune Oracle is my favorite, and the book is brilliant. Oh, because there's a Heindel Tarot. I didn't realize there was a Heindel Rune Oracle. Susan, learn something every day. So that's cool. What else? There was something else that popped into my mind and then it popped straight back out again. Oh, I love shuffling so much. I will just sit and shuffle my deck whilst I'm watching YouTube videos, watching TV shows, playing Dungeons and Dragons, Monster of the Week. I've been playing Monster of the Week. That's another tabletop RPG I've really been enjoying, which is really fun. Yes. Some decks though are really slippery, and if I'm not looking at what I'm doing, and I go to riffle them, and then there's just, it's like 78 card pickup. That was like the unfunniest game that kids would play with a pack of cards. Have you ever played 52 pickup? And you'd go, no. And then they'd like the entire deck of playing cards at you and then expect you to pick them up. Obviously, after like the second or third time it had been done to me in the space of a number of years, I'd sort of cottoned on. I'll have to get you in a Shadowrun game at some point. Shadowrun, I've heard tale of Shadowrun, but I don't know that much about it. But because I've got a sort of a core group that I play D&D with, and then a core group, and then a group that I play Monster of the Week with, and there's a bit of crossover with them both, but quite often other members of the group will run other campaigns or one shots of various other games. So if you're interested, if they're looking for extra players, let me know if you're interested to like be put forward. Obviously you have no obligation to play, but it's always nice to know that there's someone else out there that is really into TTRPGs that we can recommend. So the Chariot says, I have a deck that because of the shuffling the edges have been torn out totally. It's shorter. So cool. Oh wow. which deck is that? Is it a really old deck? If you had it a really long time? Because I had the Osho Zen Tarot. That was my first ever tarot deck. I think I bought it in about 96 or 97. I'm pretty sure it was 97 because I think I was 16. And that was the only tarot deck I had for a really long time. It was the only deck that I read with. I didn't really know. I've said this before. I didn't really know about all the different types of systems. On looking at it, is definitely sort of Rider-Waite-Smith influenced. It's actually more Smith-Waite than a lot of people realise. Because I'd had it for so long, it was really, really looking worn. And then I saw someone had trimmed their version and made it smaller. Not that it's a very big deck to begin with. It's one of the smaller tarot decks, really. It's sort of squat. It's quite sort of short and chunky. But I trimmed that because I always disliked the keywords at the bottom. I'm not great with keywords at the bottom. There are a couple of decks that I let it slide with. The first one obviously being the Thoth. The other one, I don't know, I'm looking around. Is it in here? The other one being the Next World Tarot. That's got keywords. And it kind of has a Thoth feel about it, because it is it's big. It's actually bigger than my deluxe Thoth. Here we go. Can see here it's actually a little bit bigger, a hair taller and a little bit wider, but it has that it's actually got more associations from what I know, because hang on, it's on the majors. That's the aces. Where's the majors? Find a major. Okay, so on the majors and the minors you get the title. Now this is the indie deck that our Simon of the Hermit's Cave gifted me very kindly, and then it's got the number, and then you'll see here it will have the element, it will have the astrological association, and then here, there we go, another astrological association. Because I never used the astrology, I never really looked at that bit, but yeah, the Thoth has, oh god, I'm really getting a cob on now. Not a cob on, a sweating cobs. I keep saying cob on instead of sweating cobs. Getting a cob on is something entirely different, which I am incapable of doing because I am a owner of the anti-cob. Okay, so yeah, here we go. Sweating cobs. Brain fog, see, it makes you misremember sayings and idioms. So you see, it's even bigger than that, but it's very, very glossy. I keep saying I'll get. Can you still get the pocket version of this? Because I would really like a travel. I don't know. I've been like squeezing my thread wax whilst talking to you. Fidgeter. That is what I am. I'm a fidget. Turns out there may be a reason for that. Let's see. Hey Jen. Where's Jen? Jen. Hey Jen. Nice to catch up a bit. Well, do you know what I was thinking about you earlier? Because I saw your post about being out on a little trip, and I was like, oh, I haven't glided, Jen, for a while. Thoth keywords are not intrusive. They're okay. Yeah, see, I think that's what it is, Leanne. You're right. Because if you look, you have the title, and then here behind this it says Trumps because it's a Trump. But what have I done with the box? I've put it back in the box within the box. They're a lot more subtle. Tarastash, hey, you all right there, Gerald? Ooh. There's a holographic version coming out of the Next World. I'm sorry, what? There's a holographic Next World? Is that going to be mass market though, Brent? Scorpion Moon Tarot, Scott. Hey Scott, you all right? Everyone's turning up. Bloody hell, there's 38 people watching. It's probably the most I've had for a while. It's because it's a better time for people, right? Great deck. Am I missing 6 months? The Chariot says the Rider-Waite Smith yellow box. Wow, you've already like worn it, really broken it in. You're late. Oh, don't worry. I've been going for an hour, but you know me, I can talk the hind legs off a donkey. So, oh crap, I've got that the wrong way. So yeah, I do love the Thoth artwork. It's stunning. And I've really come to enjoy shuffling it. I was like, how am I going to shuffle it? I'm going to trim it. But actually, I like it. I like the borders. Who am I even? Come back round to borders. I think a lot of us have. We were all like, oh, no borders. Borders, no. Please, no borders. And then everyone started putting out decks without borders. And now we're like, well, actually, I think I rather like borders. We are a fickle bunch, aren't we? My goodness. I think it depends on the deck. I would think I would often more prefer sort of black borders, because the border the frame that you put your artwork in, it needs to be considered more. So I think a lot of the time when decks were created, they were obviously just printed on white or sort of creamish or whitish cardstock, because obviously you get really good like for the color payoff. But the problem is, not all artwork looks good in a white frame. Depending on the artwork, that is going to detract the eye. So sometimes a darker frame, whether that's a black or a dark blue or some other sort of jewel tone, is going to look better. So it really, really depends, on the deck. The Thoth Greenie is famous for just giving the Thoth Tarot that sort of warmer, cozier, softer feel. Anna over at Astral Lady Tarot has a couple of really lovely Thoths, and her 1980s Thoth has a really warm green tone to it. It's really interesting and really lovely. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I think borders depends on, yeah, see, Gerald, that's what I think. It depends on the deck. Like my Tarot of the Magical Forest, which was the first deck I ever trimmed and sent me off on like a deck modding spree. I took the borders off of that because of all the multiple languages that come on Lo Scarabeo decks. Obviously, Lo Scarabeo have changed some of their decks. So the Happy Tarot, I got the original version of the Happy Tarot, and that had the multiple languages, so I trimmed it. And then there's a later version of the Happy Tarot, which does just the symbol and the number, and has foregone all of that jazz with the multiple. And I would like to see a reprint of the Magical Forest done in the same style. I don't know, maybe it exists already. No one, I would hope someone would let me know if that was the case, considering it is my baby. Wow, someone is making something very garlicky and it smells really good. It smells like garlic bread, like warm bread drizzled in like butter and garlic. It's really strong and really good. Hello, where did you all come from? I know, Antoinette, right? Suddenly like 12 million people. Well, that's a massive exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Meow, 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 meow. Let's just go have a quick look up the thing. What Ethan Carpenter says that reminds you of what? Jen's getting ready for work. I think I'm up to date. Bunny kisses. I didn't see you. Sorry, my love. Hope all is well with the flooding over there. It's we're okay, like our place, but like a tiny bit further down the road, it's all madness. It's just damage, water damage. The brook burst. The park has flooded. People's homes are flooded. Just really bad. Stratford, just over that way that I can see from just looking out my window, flooded. Celtic Knotworks has nice runes and wood minis, says Linda. Hello, Linda. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Okay. I trimmed my everyday enchantment. It helps me hate the deck less, but I struggle with it. You know, Gerald, you don't have to keep decks you hate. So it's just like, if you know, like when they say, if you love something, let it go. But also, if you hate something, like, let it go. Why are you torturing yourself? You strange sausage. But yeah, I agree with the whole you've never trimmed your deck, Liam. Do you know what, it's quite Moorish. There'll come a point where I'd done quite a few decks, and then I was looking around my collection going, I was looking for decks to trim, and you know what, there have been a couple of decks that I'm like, I kind of wish I hadn't. So I like my trimmed Dirty Pam, but also I kind of wish I hadn't. And I think that's because it's one of my favorites, like coloration wise. And is there a reprint of that, but with borders again, like the same coloration of the Dirty Pam? Does anyone know? Simon will know, but I don't know if he's still in here because he might have had to go back to work. Because I would probably pick up another copy of that. And then there's the Fournier Tarot de Marseille, which is the Marseille that has all the different background colours for the minor suits. And I trimmed that and left the border, the edges squared off. And it shuffles really nicely. But actually, I've come back around to wanting the borders on it because I'm fickle. What can I say? That's what I say. If you hate, there are so many decks you love, says Jamie. I keep all my decks to only one rehomed. Yeah, it's difficult, like, because I'm in a position where I want to get rid of decks, and I have gotten rid of some decks. I've got rid of a handful of them, but then there are those that I haven't worked with enough, and I'm like, oh, but what if I just haven't worked with it enough, and it's like one of the best decks I've ever owned, and I just don't know it yet, you know? So there's that element to it. There are decks that I've used quite a bit which I no longer want. Like, I really used the Herbal Tarot a lot. That's one I trimmed, which I like trimmed. But because I've sort of worked on my own affirmations, my own associations for herbal stuff with regards to tarot, and did a lot of work on that, I no longer need the herb depicted in the deck. It's a fine deck, but the artwork isn't great, and I have other associations. I don't, because that deck uses a lot of traditional Chinese medicine, and that's great, that's fine, but I try to keep the herbalism that I use much more local. I feel that's usually more effective if you're using plants that are native to where you're from, because your body is adapted to that. And then when I say local, I mean wildcrafted, foraged within my local area, whether it's at Epping Forest, Hackney Marshes, my local park, because that's the environment I'm in. So I try to keep it a lot of like hedgerow medicine, that kind of thing. Oh, it's only the mini. I thought I'd heard that there was one that had borders. I have OCD. I would trim the cards and see they weren't perfect, so I'd keep trimming till the card was gone. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That can be tricky. Angie D. Hello. Kelly Bear, hello, beautiful people. Hello, lovely to see you. I have more than 100 decks, and I try to connect to at least one, but it's impossible. Every day I change my mind, so I can't enjoy no deck. Is it me? No, I went through the Chariot. I had a similar problem. I was starting to get very, very overwhelmed with my collection. So towards sort of in 2018, and so I decided to do a depth year in 2019, and that really, really helped. I think I bought a couple of decks, and I was gifted some decks, but for the most part I just worked with what I had, because the whole point of the depth year was using what you've already got. Whether that's, instead of buying new board games, you play with board games you've got. Instead of buying new computer games, you play through the computer games that you've got. Instead of buying new decks, you play with the decks you've got. You read with the decks you've got. Instead of buying new books, I didn't buy any books. Instead of buying new books, you read the books that are already in your to read pile, or reread your favorites. And that's what I did for a year with all sorts of stuff. I didn't buy any stationery. I didn't buy any art supplies. I didn't buy any books. It was a real, and actually I found it fine. And it put me in good stead, because then 2020 came along, and we all know what happened in 2020. And I'm a professional hairstylist and makeup artist by trade. I'm also clinically vulnerable. My husband is also clinically vulnerable, which suddenly meant that working was not a thing I could do, and I didn't have any money coming in. So having gotten used to not buying things was really good, because then I had an unintentional depth year in 2020. This year I've had a few decks. I got the Thoth because I wanted to start studying the Thoth. I got the Piatnik Lenormand because I wanted a traditional Lenormand for my Lenormand study. And I bought the Antique Anatomy Tarot because I had wanted that for ages, and I thought it had gone out of print here in the UK, but it just turns out it was being marketed as the Modern Tarot Reader set here in the UK, not as the Antique Anatomy. So I snapped that up, and that was like £10 or £11. So it was just like silly money. I used a bit of Christmas and birthday money to buy a couple of decks. And I also bought, hello June, you're right, lovely. Fur babies want breakfast. Oh, well, gotta get on that, because you know what fur babies are like. They act as if they've never eaten anything before ever until you feed them. I know Dr. Nomi's like that. What else did I get? And I bought the Melanated Classic, which is the Rider-Waite-Smith deck that I'm using this year, because that had been on my list for a while, and that came up on sale on the Little Red Tarot. She got some more. Hi, I'm live, by the way. My husband just got back. If I hear him coming upstairs, because I don't want him to just wander in and be like, I didn't know you were live. But yeah, so I think I've got like 3 decks. No, 1, 2, 3, 4 tarot decks this year, and I've been gifted a couple. So you did a depth year in 2019 then? Yes, I did. And I that wasn't just for tarot, that was for everything. I applied it to everything in my life, from the books I read to the art supplies that I use, to the point where now I've run down so much of my like acrylic paints, my felt pens, my pencils. I'm at the point where I'm like, crap, I actually need to replace a bunch of stuff. All my fine liners, like loads of stuff, loads of my papers, my sticker, like everything is really, really run down. So, but that's good. Like I wanted to get to that. So, hi, I'm live, by the way. It's okay. Just, I don't know if you can hear that. Here's me. Like, I'm sitting here with my legs up like some kind of Queen of Sheba. I guess I am on my own desk. So it just all feels a bit loose, doesn't it? I'm starting really sweating now. It's getting really hot. So let's see if I've missed anybody. Sort of. Brent knows it comes in some kind of kit. It's a mass market holographic Next World Tarot kit. Okay, Next World Tarot. I need to make a note because I will forget. Oh yes, I will forget. Next World Tarot. Just writing notes to remember. What I'm bringing. What else have I got in here? I've got my here. Talking of heavily modified decks, I pulled this one out again because I didn't know if I was going to rehome this. So this is I was talking about not having worked with decks much and wanting to work with them to feel like to make the final decision whether I want to keep them or get rid of them. That didn't make sense. Keep them or get rid of them. That was the other way around. But this in here is the Fae Tarot. And it's a Lo Scarabeo deck. And I took the borders off because it had the multiple languages. That was my elbow crunching. Ew, on my desk. Can you hear that? So I trimmed it. I edged it in blues. And I backed it in metallic disco contact paper, because the back was like a sort of taken from the lover's card. And I get really annoyed when decks use a card that is in the deck. It was like a test, not a test, it was like a reversible version of it, but it was still like a bit like looking at the lover's card. When decks take a card from the deck and turn it into the back, I'm like, no. Do you know how confusing that is? That's my only gripe with my Melanated Classic. And I know that there's another version now which has a different back, and that's probably from feedback, but it has the 8 of Wands as the back of the card, and it's so confusing. And I was like, maybe I'll back it with contact paper, but then it's going to be so chunky because it's actually already quite a chunky deck. So I don't know. First world problems. Okay, I'll read that one. It all sounds great till you get 5 cards in. Which one was that for, Antoinette? Large cards? 5 cards in of trimming, maybe? Oh, Gerald's saying he's making sure he doesn't like the deck. Okay, well, maybe give it a little longer, but like, don't torture yourself. I agree. Hoping O Scarabeo will reprint all with symbols instead of languages. Yeah, me too. Let's just get up to date with the chat. So we've got Saw Angie there. I'm currently shuffling the deck now, says Gerald. Depsy, yeah, says Leanne. June popping in. Got the limited edition Thoth too, the gold and gilded. Yeah, that looks really fancy. I've seen quite a few people with that. I was talking about another Dirty Pam. Oh, Jen, I got all excited. Well, I'm still excited about the I need some more water. I'm all out of water. The next World Tarot. There's me saying I'll keep it short, and we're at 1 hour and 16 minutes. Any form of modification, not enough patience for it. Oh, I see what you mean. See, I enjoy it. See, it takes all types, folks. Different strokes for different folks, as they say. And because I've backed it in the contact paper, it riffle shuffles really, really well now, because it just gives it that little bit more sturdiness, but also like wibbliness. Sturdiness, but wibbliness. Kelly Bear 2021. Why do you have pronouns in your name? Oh, well, here we go. Why do you think? So yeah, it's all right, Jen. There's always going to be one. It's going to be one. It's always going to be one. Every chat, at least one. Stephanie says, I love the Fae Tarot. I never use them to preserve the cards. I feel weird not using them. I feel like I'll never get them again. Jamie likes modifying them whilst chatting with friends. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the Fae Tarot, this is one I've toyed with getting rid of on and off. It comes in and it goes back in my keep, into the get rid, back into the keep. It's like a yo-yo. It's like a yo-yo. The deck, the book that comes with it is great. Hang on, let me grab it. Okay, right. So this is it. So this is the book, and it's really good. I'm sure I've written all over it. Did I write in this one? I did not write in this one. Or maybe I've written it in pencil. Did I write it in pencil? No, good. Okay, but it's the artist talks about her process of creating each card. So it's a guidebook. It's an expanded guidebook, but it also really goes into why that depiction has been created for each card, and I love it. So yeah, I like the book. Is so good. And I think the thing that throws me off a little bit with this deck is the fact that, let me find an example. Obviously it's quite different to a Smithway. It does do a little bit of its own thing, but so for example, this is the 9 of Wands, right? But there are not 9 wands in it, so it's not immediate. You have to know the deck really well in order to read with it, I think, or you have to take your time. It's not one of those decks that you can just like lay cards out and do a quick reading, especially at the beginning. For me, I keep looking down at my Numinous Tarot. The Numinous Tarot was like that for me for a while, especially if I put it away and I don't use it for a while. I have to sort of reacquaint myself, because not all of the, but a lot of the titles have been changed. The courts have been renamed, use completely ungendered language. And the depictions are very, very different. So, and the suits have been renamed. But I've got to the point where I can read pretty well with that without having to translate it into Smithwaite or translate it into original tarot-ish. But this one, I haven't used enough to do that. So it's kind of tricky to see. But what I've done is because I've trimmed it, I've got like a 5 and then a pentacle. So that's the 5 pentacles. This one is more obviously the 5 of pentacles. Again, we don't have 5 pentacles in the picture like you would in the stained glass of the Smithwaite, but it's still recognizable. You do have this as a sort of pentacle feeling. But look at this cute little creature. And what I really like about this depiction is that you can see it from the outside looking in, and these people are all cozy and safe and warm, and this little creature is just, my heart just breaks for this little creature. And like, there's cards like this that make it really difficult for me to get rid of this deck, because looking at this card almost makes you want to cry. Like, what is wrong with me? It's too cute. So yeah, it's not an easy reader. You're like, I love this. This is the Ace of Wands, right? And I can relate to this so much. This woman, they're just being creative. And look at these little creatures. Oh God, how cute they are. I cannot. Oh my God, I want one. 2, I want both of them. Look at them. How then I'm like, I can't get rid of it. And I've made it so much my own, you know. But I keep it in this. Like this drawstring pouch. Kelly Bear, maker of pouches, keeps this trimmed deck in the pouch that doesn't even, in a little drawstring bag that doesn't close around it. So yeah, it's been on my list to make a pouch for it, but I didn't want to commit to the pouch if I wasn't going to keep it, because then, and people have said, well, if you want to get rid of your deck, who's going to buy it off of you if you've modified it? And I'm like, well, someone might have it, you know, but also I might, you know, I've given decks away. I haven't sold most of the decks that I've gotten rid of, barring a couple. I've sold a few and I've given away a few. It depends on the deck, right? So let's see. Oh, I need that Fae book. Yeah, it's great, Stephanie. I think you can still get it. If you have the Fae deck, I highly recommend it. So here we go. Let's look. That was funny. Look what page I opened on. Kismet. That was meant to happen. The image. A simple country house where diverse Fae rest and are protected from the inclement weather outside. The pentacle that protects them is also the fire and the hearth. They, in their simplicity, are rich, but a shadow of monstrous appearance. Oh, come on, it's not monstrous. It's so cute. Is approaching the large window. No one knows if this strange figure is a threat or a small furry animal trying to find refuge and warmth. Now, I just always saw it as looking in going, oh, it sure looks nice and warm in there. I wish I was by the fire. And just like toasting marshmallows. I would toast marshmallows with the creature. And then it has like a simple meaning. So it'll give you the picture of the picture. It has black and white depictions of the picture, the card. Obviously the title of the card. It'll have the description of the image, which I've just read, and then a simple meaning. So it says poverty, destitution, exclusion from what is beautiful, one's own or otherwise. Now, I would say that's a very negative reading of the Five of Pentacles, and I try to take all cards from neutral and allow the context to flavour how I'm reading it, the context of if it's in a positional spread, which I don't really use. I use freestyle most of the time. And then obviously the question and then the other cards that it's interacting with. So it then has an advanced meaning. And then the artist talks about the symbols used. And I think that's it for each of the the minors. The majors are interesting because if you go to the majors, hang on, where is it? There will be sometimes there'll be images of the initial sketches and how they changed. Let's see if I can find an example, but it's really cool. Why can I not find one? Of course, as soon as I say that, I can't bloody find one. There's some original. There we go. There's some like original sketches and ideas. It's not in, actually. It's not in where the card meanings are. It's before the card meanings. But they're talking about the development of the deck and the different processes that it goes through, the different iterations of the cards, and a little description of what's going on. Which, again, you see the initial sketch starting, and then it's really everything's back to front on StreamYard. It twists my melon. So yeah, it's really good. And then if you look, just for those of you that are looking to get the book, you have at the back, you have that process bit at the front, you get your meanings, but the artist is talking about the imagery, and the symbols, and then there's spreads at the back. So you've got 3-card one, which is Dream, Joy, and Magic. And then obviously 3-card meanings. 3-card spreads can come in all sorts of shapes. And there's like a two-card spread. And then there's this one, it's called The Cross of the Four Kingdoms. This one here. So you get a few, and like, you know, that's not a read. You know, it's nice when books put in readings that you don't see everywhere, because, you know, sometimes there'll be like some version of the Celtic Cross, some version of a 3-card spread, you know, but it's nice when there's something different. And then there's this one, which is called the six stars. See, so you get something a little bit different. But yeah, cool. So the jury's out on this one. If I do decide to keep it, I will make a pouch for it, and if I don't, then I probably won't make a pouch for it. So let's just have a look at the live chat. The live chat. Hello, are you a teacher? I am not a teacher. I would be a terrible teacher. Actually, I've done demonstrations and taught hair and makeup, both on one-to-one lessons and group demonstrations and lessons, which I've very much enjoyed. I do actually enjoy teaching, but I couldn't teach tarot because I still feel like I am learning tarot. I know it's been like nearly 25 years, but I'm still learning. Still learning. Aren't we always still learning, I guess? Let's have a look, catch up, and then I might sign off because my throat's starting to get really dry and I'm very thirsty. And I need to get these tracksuit bottoms off and put something lighter on, put my pajama bottoms on. Let's just check that I am up to date. Metallic backs, metallic New World. Oh, you'll never find them. Stephanie mentioned you wouldn't find the meow, 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 meow. Yeah, the artwork's lovely on the Fae Tarot. I don't want to commit to the pouch. What? I make a lot of pouches. I've made some pouches today. I've got partly made. Well, I didn't make all of these today. I've so far stitched those and partially stitched this one. And then these are the ones from the other day. But yeah, I feel a little bit guilty when I make pouches for myself, because obviously I'm like, well, this should go in the shop. You could sell it as a Kelly Mod original. Do people really want Kelly Mod's originals? I don't know. I gave away a deck that had given the naked images a dress, a bikini, and the receiver loved it. Well, there you go, Scott. See, that's fine. Someone will have it, I guess. Thanks for reading through the book. Definitely getting soon. You're welcome, Stephanie. Fur babies fed. Lovely. I have my herb tea and can now enjoy Kelly and you all for a bit. What kind of herbal tea do you have? I think once I come off this live chat, I'm going to make myself a rooibos tea with a little bit of almond milk, just to and maybe a tiny bit of agave. I don't know. Yeah, you're still here. You've been on the phone, says Simon. That book in Amazon is $29.96 US. Oh, really? The Fae book is out of print, but there are some good secondhand bargains out there, says Susan. Well, that's handy. Yeah, maybe get it secondhand then. Just received your email, an email containing those magical words. Your order is on its way. Which what is that for, Simon? Who was I asking about? It was the Mermaid Bay Tarot, and was talking about she had the was it the vintage tarot, and I was asking which deck that was, and then I don't know if she replied because the way basically when I scroll through the chat on Zoom, it can be very juddery. Those of you that know Zoom will know what I mean. It can sort of, and sometimes I'll miss stuff. I don't deliberately miss people's comments. I apologize if I do ever miss any. 32 degrees in Tracky Dax. It's not 32 degrees here though. It's like 22, 23. I'm going for my solstice blend. Can't remember. Oh, okay. That sounds nice. Patch Tarot. Patch Tarot. Let's have a look at that. Goodness me. Patch Tarot. Emergence. Is it a mass market? Oh, that looks like the same maker of the Happy Tarot. Is that the same artist? It's very it's got that very sort of not chibi, but it's got that kind of. I has not heard of this one. It's very colorful. Why can I not find? Okay, let me see if I can find a. Meow, 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 meow. Patchtarot.com. Who's the artist? Learn tarot. Shop the Patch Tarot. About. Tell me about you. Meow, meow, meow. Who are you? Who is the person? Patch Tarot website. But who are you? Jordan David River. Okay, so it's not the artist of the Happy Tarot. A red zinger. What does a red zinger consist of, June? That sounds exciting. It's been long since I've touched base with you. Life's been crazy, says June. I'm going for my. Oh yeah, so Antoinette said going solstice blend. So yeah, there's so many lists. I'm so out of the loop with decks. I think because I was talking about the depth here earlier. The depth here has made me like, I don't keep up on Kickstarters. I don't keep up on, you know, I just don't really just don't keep up on what look at the catalogs. You know, obviously people that I follow on YouTube will do walkthroughs, but again, I don't always watch them, and I'm more inclined to watch it if it's a Pip deck or a Marseille deck, just because that's my preference these days. So, and even then I've got to the point where I can quite happily you know, watch a walkthrough and go, that's really lovely, and not need to buy it. I'm happy that it exists, and I think it's very beautiful, but I don't feel like I have to own it, which is how I was before I started getting loads and loads of decks. So Spirit Science, the accompanying book is $250, so it's a no to that, but you can get the app for $6.99. The accompanying book for what? Sorry, Simon, is that for? That's $250, because that's just wild money. Just checking I'm not. Whew, I have spoken myself into being out of breath at this point. I guess I just this is the thing, right? I don't get to chat to people. I get to chat to people on Glide. I had a chat with Simon earlier on Glide. But generally as a rule, like I don't get to just talk to multiple people at once, I think is the point. Like to be like, this is my little social hub for the time being. Spirit Science is the company behind the concept, behind the patch tab. Why is it £250? What's it made of? Bloody gold plated palladium? Wow, that's a big no from me. £250 for a book. Unless it was like a really old vintage 400-year-old book or something, then no. But yeah, I think I've been on for an hour and a half. I have probably talked all your ears off at this point, for those of you that are still here and those of you that have popped in and popped out and what have you. But yeah, thank you for keeping me company for a bit on this weird Monday. The storm clouds are starting to roll in again. Oh, pray for my roof and my leaky house. And yeah, I guess I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea, and I'm going to carry on sewing pouches. I've got this green one to finish, and it's got a really cool, I'll show you, I've got a really cool Triskele charm. That's the back of it. That's the Triskele charm that will be going on it, and this lovely sort of chiffon triple green metallic tulle ribbon business. I love it. It's just all tone on tone, although I have noticed that the tone on tone pouches don't often sell very well. I guess people like the weird color combinations I come up with. Sometimes I come up with a color combination, I'm like, no one's going to go for this one, this is too weird, and then someone buys it. Hello, Semra. I'm glad to extend it into my wake up time. Have a great rest of day, Elle, says Jen. Thank you. And Ellie and Susan and Simon. Paper Moon Terry, thank you. Nancy, so thank you. Ow, I've just done it again. Stephanie, thank you. I will get some tea. No more caffeine for me, though. I've had quite enough. It's a 500 pay book, but yeah, even for it's like literally, like, if that's £250, that's like £1 for every 2 pages. £2 for £1 for 2 pages. That's, yeah, that's, oh, interesting. Ellen, everyone's saying goodbye. Thank you. I do bruise oozily. I bruise oozily. Yeah, it's definitely time to go. Shop stuff, actually, before I go. Oh, the obligatory shop stuff. I don't know when my next shop update will be, because COVID is wild in my area and there are no restrictions, and I live in a clinically vulnerable household, so I need to be very careful what I'm doing going into my post office, because people don't want to wear masks and they don't want to keep the fuck away. So it makes it very, very risky, and COVID is way more transmissible, the Delta variant. So that's fun. So I'm needing to gauge the situation. So I'm trying to decide whether I'll do my biannual update as normal, or if I will have a little bit of a summer break, maybe finish making these pouches that I've got cut out. I've only got like this and these four more pouches that I've got pre-cut to finish. I think maybe once I've finished those and done all the prep, the photos, editing, the listings, I might just have an actual break, because yeah, I'm not going on holiday anywhere. I guess I could just, and can't even have a staycation, because where am I going to go with my clinically vulnerable ass? So yeah, I might as well tidy the room at least. But Bruce Oozily, another great band name. The Chariot Loves the Green. Oh, that's cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's like a dark green on the outside and an olive green on the, no, like a Kelly green on the outside and a me green and an olive green. Can you imagine if I was in a relationship with someone called Olive, and you'd have an olive green and a Kelly green? That'd be cute. But my husband's name is Simon, not Oliver. Please be safe. I know how you feel having shopping delivered for the first time in this pandemic, because most restrictions down here as well. That's really scary. So all of you, keep safe, socially distance. Please wear a mask, because those of us who are clinically vulnerable are restricted in what we can do, because you're wearing a mask protects other people. And I don't know, I can't, it's harder for me to be safe. And so protect your friendly neighborhood, clinically vulnerable and disabled people, and get jabbed if you are able to. We need to this is a global effort. So, and Jennifer Rebecca, I'm so sorry, I'm just signing off. Hello to Kelly Bout, just came on a real quick, so watch later. Oh my god, good luck watching this mammoth waffletron back. Waffletron, wafflethon, wafflethon. Anyway, I'm just going to go, because what even am I doing at this point? I am very hot and sweaty and thirsty. I'm just going to go. Okay, ciao. Love you all. Bye. End podcast.